The following is a report of the hate and bias incidents reported to the University of Wisconsin-Platteville Bias Incident Team during the fiscal year 2019 through 2020. The University Bias Incident Team is a group of campus representatives committed to supporting students, faculty, and staff who have been affected by a bias incident. Incidents of bias can affect anyone on campus. They can be directed at groups on the basis of race, gender, sexual orientation, or religion, among other factors. And they can affect different populations on campus, such as students, whether living in residence halls or off campus, faculty, staff, and visitors. The University Bias Incident Team is comprised of staff and faculty from across the university. Current members include Assistant Chancellor for Diversity and Inclusion, Angela Miller, Assistant Director of the International Programs Office, Swati Kukreja, Assistant Director for the Office of Multicultural Student Affairs, Tristan King, Associate Director for the Department of Residence Life, Jen Arts, Associate Director for Public Relations, Allison Parkins, Campus Climate Coordinator, Emily Steyer, Chief Human Resource Officer, Sarah Vosberg, Dean of Students, Kate Demers, Chief of Police, Joseph Hallman, Executive Director of Diversity and Inclusion, Frank King, Executive Director of Diversity and Inclusion, Carrie Hill, Executive Director of Diversity and Inclusion, Laura Franklin, Executive Director of Student Life and Development, Linda Mulroy-Bowden, and the Interim Associate Vice Chancellor of Academic Affairs, Melissa Gormley. Laura Franklin and Linda Mulroy-Bowden are the co-conveners of UBIT. There are many ways to access the University Bias Incident Team reporting form. One of the easiest is by visiting go.uwplatt.edu/ubit. We want to try to make reporting as easy as possible. Please remember that anyone interacting with our campuses or campus community members may file a report. This includes staff, students, faculty, and visitors. Reports can be submitted anonymously. It is up to the reporter how detailed or private they would like to be. However, we do want reporters to understand that limited information may also impact the ways in which we are able to respond. We also want folks to know that they can file an incident on behalf of someone else. If you witness, read, or hear of an act of hate or bias, you should feel empowered to report, even if it does not directly impact you. Next, folks should feel encouraged to submit a report even when they aren't sure that an act of hate or bias has occurred. That is part of our team's responsibility. Finally, please keep in mind that our team serves all 3 campuses. For additional questions regarding the functionality or process of this team, please contact one of the co-conveners, Linda Mulroy-Bowden or Laura Franklin. Their information will be available at the end of this video and on our website. The following data represents hate and bias trends from fiscal year 2015 through 2016 through 2019 through 2020. All other data sets represented throughout this video represents incidents from fiscal year 2019 through 2020, which means July 1st, 2019 through June 30th, 2020. It's also important to know that one incident could impact multiple locations, identities, and take many forms. This is why number and data sets may seem off to some consumers. The top targeted identities over the past 5 years have been race and ethnicity, sexual orientation, national origin, and gender identity. These are listed in rank of prevalence, meaning that race and ethnicity has remained the most impacted identity over the past 5 years. The top forms these incidents have taken are written, verbal, and vandalism. These are also ranked in order of prevalence. The final box showcases the total number of cases over the past 5 years. Last year, there were 62 total incidents. In the fall of 2019, which represents July 1st, 2019 through December 31st, 2019, there were 27 reported incidents. The top 4 targeted identities were race and ethnicity, other identity, gender, and transgender identity. These are all written in order of prevalence. 48% of the reported incidents took place in a university building, many of these being within a classroom. We saw a rise in social media as a space for hate and bias incidents. In the fall, the top 3 forms of incidents were verbal, written, and social media. These are ranked in order of prevalence. 48% of the reported incidents targeted race and ethnicity. The following outlines the reports that took place in the spring of 2020, which is January 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2020. In the spring, there were 35 reported incidents. The top 3 identities that were impacted were race and ethnicity, immigration status, and national origin. These are written in order of prevalence. 77% of these incidents took place off campus. This is largely due to the pandemic. However, it shows that hate and bias can and does happen off campus, online, and in virtual spaces. The top 4 forms these incidents took were via the phone, verbal, social media, and written. And a staggering 94% of these reports impacted race and ethnicity. A summary of the 2019-2020 fiscal year is indicated below. This data combined the data from fall 2019 and spring 2020 semesters. Overall, there were 62 incidents last year. The top 3 identities that were impacted were race and ethnicity, national origin, and immigration status. These are written in order of prevalence. 58% of all reports took place off campus. The top 4 forms that these reports took were verbal, phone, written, and social media. Finally, 74% of reports targeted race and ethnicity. The following chart showcases reports by campus location for fall 2019. During the fall, 26 incidents took place on the main campus. 1 incident took place at the UW-Platteville-Baraboo-Sauk County campus, and no reports were submitted for the UW-Platteville-Richland Center campus. In the spring of 2020, 34 incidents were reported at the main campus. 1 report was submitted at the UW-Platteville-Richland Center campus, and no reports were submitted for the UW-Platteville-Baraboo-Sauk County campus. For the 2019-2020 fiscal year, 60 incidents were reported on the main campus, and 1 incident was reported on each of the branch campuses. The following chart showcases the specific location of the reports during fall 2019. 13 incidents took place in a university building, 6 were off campus, 4 were in the residence halls, 3 took place at another location, and 1 occurred on university grounds. In the spring of 2020, 23 incidents took place at another location, and 4 took place off campus. Both of these locations encompass reports submitted for incidents that took place virtually, on social media, via email, over the phone, and in other modes off campus. Again, the pandemic has had a large impact on the location of hate and bias incidents. 4 incidents took place in a university building, 2 took place in a residence hall, and 2 took place on university grounds. Over the 2019-2020 fiscal year, 26 incidents took place at another location. 17 took place in a university building, 10 took place off campus, 6 took place in a residence hall, and 3 took place on university grounds. These trends show that virtual incidents are capable of occurring and are something to look out for as we continue to navigate the pandemic and online engagement and learning. Additionally, there was an uptick of incidents in university buildings, especially within the classroom. In the past, the residence halls have been a more active location of hate and bias incidents. This year, academic spaces became more prevalent. The following report showcases the identities that were targeted for the reports in the 2019 fall semester. 13 incidents impacted race and ethnicity. 8 impacted another identity that is not listed. 7 impacted transgender identity. 7 impacted gender. 6 impacted sexual orientation. 4 impacted religion. 4 impacted national origin. 2 impacted disability. And 2 impacted immigration status. And 1 impacted social economic class. It is important to remember that one incident may impact multiple identities. From this data, it is important to recognize that there's an ongoing impact for our staff, students, and faculty of color, and those who identify as LGBTQ+, as well as women. In the spring of 2020, 33 incidents impacted race and ethnicity, 23 impacted national origin, 18 impacted immigration status, 4 impacted sexual orientation, 2 impacted religion, 2 impacted gender, 2 impacted social economic class, and 2 impacted transgender identity. There were no reports that impacted disability or other identity. These trends show that national incidents are reflected on college campuses. With the pandemic and heightened conversations regarding police brutality and racial relations in our country, we received many reports that reflected these events and discourse happening nationally. Overall, impacted identities for the 2019-2020 fiscal year are 46 incidents impacting race and ethnicity, 27 impacting national origin, 20 impacting immigration status, 10 impacting sexual orientation, 9 impacting transgender identity, 9 impacting gender, 8 impacting another identity not listed, 6 impacting religion, 3 impacting social economic class, and 2 impacting disability. The following chart shows the forms of the reports filed during fall 2019. It is important to remember that each incident may take multiple forms. For example, a hate and bias email may be reported as an email and written. For fall 2019, 12 incidents were verbal, 7 were written, 5 were on social media, 4 took another form, 2 were via email, and 1 was in the mail, 1 was on the phone, and 1 was vandalism. Again, as a reminder, this semester saw an uprise in incidents on social media as compared to previous years. In spring of 2020, 16 incidents happened over the phone. 8 were verbal, 8 were on social media, 7 were written, 3 were via email, and 1 was in the mail. Other forms of incidents had no reported associated with them. The incidents via the phone had such an increase due to the concerns surrounding the pandemic. The 2019-2020 fiscal year overall saw 20 verbal incidents, 17 over the phone, 14 that were written, 13 on social media, 5 via email, 4 that took a different form, 2 in the mail, and 1 that was vandalism. Finally, the University Bias Incident Team would like to remind our campus communities that hate is not a UW-Platteville value. This is a campaign our UVitt team has started as we want to ensure that hate and bias are taken seriously. Please educate yourself and inform others about this data as well as information regarding reporting hate and bias. Next, be an advocate for change. Each campus community member has their own power and influence across some facet of the campus. Be a role model and model supportive, respectful, and civil behavior in the spaces you occupy. This report was compiled and narrated by staff within the Department of Campus Climate. If you have any other questions or concerns about the data presented or would like more information about the University Bias Incident Team, please reach out to one of the co-conveners, Linda Mulroy Bowden or Laura Franklin. Thank you for watching.